Hello, Christian metal community. We are here with Rusty Shipp. Today we have Rusty Shipp, Doug Webster, and AJ Newton. My name's Jimmy, and we have a Jay Goodwin there.
That's right. Hey, everybody.
So we want to talk about your new album that is coming out. Just dropped. I've been reading reviews and listening. It's amazing. So tell us a little bit, whoever wants to take this on, about the writing process. How come it took 4 years to release this album from the last one?
Take it away, Russ.
Russ gets the hard
Well,
questions first.
Right.
mm, well, mm, the writing process has been a wide variety of things. Some of the songs I've been working on for literally 20 years.
Nice.
Some songs I've been working on for 3 years. So it's been a wide range, but that's just kind of how I do songwriting in general. It's just always pulling pieces, different music fragments together as long as I've been songwriting. But the album really started coming together. I'd say I started getting serious right before right before the recording process of our last album, Dark Side of the Ocean.
Mhm.
I really started starting to pull these songs together for Capsized Empire with AJ Newton's help back in the day. And this is an album I actually started writing right after our Mortal Ghost album was released in 2017. And I was coming up with just like trying to come up with something really creative, like a really creative artistic concept. And I started coming up with this whole story about this underwater angelic kingdom at the bottom of the ocean. And these angels, they notice that the sinking souls of men are descending down to their kingdom from the surface.
Mhm.
And as the years go by, more and more souls are sinking with increasing frequency. So then they decide to ascend to the surface, find out what's going on. Like, why are these souls sinking? Is there like war or what going on with mankind at the surface? And so I came up with that concept. And I started making an album, and the album just kept growing and growing and growing until I realized I had to kind of shelve it and work on some other projects. So I worked on Liquid Exorcist, came out with that in 2019. Then got back to this album and realized it was too big and massive of an album to fit on
Mhm.
one album. So I had to split it into two halves.
Nautical art rock, right? Alt rock, or how do you say it?
Yeah, yeah. I love it. I love the
Yeah,
concept.
yeah.
We
We like
we
to call ourselves a nautical rock band.
yeah.
Yeah.
One of the only ones we know of.
Yeah, why not?
Nice.
I mean, there's other bands that what was it? GMF come up with beauty core and whatever. So,
Beautiful.
uh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
well, you remember Reese Roper's band? What was that? Brave Saint Saturn. They called it space rock. I
Yes.
mean,
Mhm.
so
Yes. Absolutely.
awesome.
Yeah.
So
There's a
So.
lot. There's a lot of different genres represented, not just on this album, Capsized Empire, but also on Dark Side of the Ocean. Right. The way that Russ constructs these pieces of art, they beg to pull in different things. Like you have reggae feels. You might have ska rock feels in there, and then some of them's a little bit metal, a little bit hard rock, or a little bit of '70s rock and roll or whatnot. But we kind of to keep things different, diversified, and really interesting, and also serving the music and serving the mission of the albums. We get very eclectic, and we pull from a lot of different threads, if you will, to
Cool.
make it what we want to do. You know what I mean? We want to keep it interesting for ourselves and for the listeners.
Mhm.
But Rusty, he's the brainchild of that. He's had all these wonderful ideas as to how they all fall together somehow perfectly on these albums. Yeah,
Yeah.
he,
Cool.
he puts a lot of thought and effort into it.
that's awesome. Well, AJ, I see you are sponsored by Outlaw Drums. Yeah,
Hmm.
so tell us how that come about, and then what's your how do you bring your writing process for the drumming into this songwriting process?
Sure. Outlaw, I actually found Michael Outlaw through, I think, a YouTube video back in the day.
Nice.
I stumbled across a snare drum video for Marty Stewart's drummer. If you know who Marty Stewart is, his drummer had a really cool looking snare drum that was made out of cypress swamp wood. I reached out to Michael and I was like, "Hey, I love what you're doing here. I'm in a nautical rock and roll band. Can you build me a kit of drums out of that swamp wood? Because it'd be perfect for me being in a nautical rock and roll band." So he and I struck up a good friendship there. He had just enough wood left from this stockpile of cypress swamp wood drug out of the Okefenokee swamp 80 years ago by somebody who gave it to his granddad. And he built me a custom set of drums out of that swampy cypress wood. And I've been using it on the Rusty Shipp albums ever since, and the music videos and stuff like that. But my approach is pretty like Russ will usually have the concepts thought out. He has a lot of the ideas, the whole blueprint, if you will, of what these albums are going to be like, these songs are going to be like. He and I do a lot of woodshedding together, to where we're going to sit there and he'll be like, "Here's my idea with this one song. It's going to have this type of feel. If it's going to be like a punk rock feel, we're going to approach it like this. If it's going to be more of a 70s rock type of feel, approach it like that, or ska or whatnot." So he'll paint the picture for me, and then I try to fill in the blanks and serve the song as best as I can. So that's kind of my role on there. And then sometimes I'll have some ideas that might be fitting for one song, but might not be so good fitting for the others. Like, I think our new song off this album, Neckbreaker, that was the first single off of this album. Really, that song came out about of me and Rusty having a rehearsal years ago when we were working on the last record. Like, we were just tinkering around working on songs there, and this riff fell out of him, and I just started playing along with him. And we were like, "Oh, this song makes you feel like you're going to break your neck from kind of like headbanging and bobbing back and forth to it." So he came up with the idea of neck breaker, because the song make you feel like you're going to break your neck for headbanging to it. So it stuck. A lot of little ideas, but I can't take a whole lot of credit here, because Russ really, he's the architect of quite a lot of this stuff. It's really his child.
Well, that's
I just try to be a good song drummer. I try to serve the songs the best I can.
yeah. And Doug, what do you play? What bass do you play?
Well, I've been playing. I have a Yamaha bass that I've been playing for basically as long as I've been playing bass, and actually just got a new bass here just a couple weeks ago, which is a Schecter bass. So anyone who comes out to the shows this summer will get to see that. Looking forward to debuting that here soon.
That's interesting. I was just about to ask about shows. I know you are off camera. We were talking about a couple things you all have coming up. What's your summer, the rest of the summer looking like?
Yeah, we have a Life Fest that we'll be at here this time next week. So yeah, we're really looking forward to that. We're playing 4 sets, including 2 acoustic sets.
Oh, wow.
Then we've got another festival we're playing in the end of August in Indiana.
Mhm.
And I believe we have a gig at a music store the night before that.
Okay.
And then are working on booking later on in the year.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of collaborating with some other Christian rock bands that we've befriended at Audio Feed and other festivals like that, where they may be traveling through Nashville. So we're going to try to work out some fall shows with some touring bands that are coming through town for us.
Oh, that's awesome. I know the fans will be
Mhm.
looking out for that. So, Rusty, I know you described a little bit of the album before. So, what can fans look for and listen for whenever they put this album on? They buy the CD, they go streaming, and they hear this album. What are they expecting to get?
Yeah, so Russ was talking earlier about the songwriting process of the album, and to pick up kind of what he was talking about, he had this idea, this concept for the album, and the initial concept is actually what the new album is, and then he realized that we wanted to have this backstory that kind of preceded it, which is what became our previous album, Dark Side of the Ocean. So in this album, as he was mentioning, we had this concept of the sea angels from the sea kingdom who come up to the surface to figure out what's going on, and they encounter pirates, and so you're talking about or asking about what people can expect. In our actual printed CD version, we've got the whole storyline written out in addition to lyrics. And so, as far as what to expect, it's definitely a concept album. And you'll hear, anyone who listens will hear that the songs, it's not just a collection of very like random alternative rock songs.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely a theme that progresses through the album, and we have some fun surprises in the album. Again, beyond just alt rock songs, we have a sea shanty, for example, and
Mm-hmm.
some of the things that we've experimented with in previous albums. But part of the reason it took so long to get this album out, we actually I think started the recording about a year or year and a half after the previous album was released. But of course, between the time of the recording of Dark Side of the Ocean and having it released, and then the time it took in the recording process, and we lost a week to a snowstorm, and it took a while to reschedule. And by the time we got through all that, and then all the mixes and everything, here we are, 4 years later.
Wow.
So, and again, it's not it's partly because we're doing something more complex, not just rushing in and knocking out songs. There's really a lot of thought that goes into even the artwork and all beyond the music itself.
Yeah, Rusty Shipp has definitely never been one of those bands that is just going to put out a song or, an album to put out a song or an album. I always say we kind of marinate on the music for quite a while. And to Russ's credit, like he was saying earlier, some of this music he'd been working on for 20 plus years.
That's
So,
amazing.
but at the same time, if you're trying to create timeless art that will last a very long time,
Yes,
that's kind of the approach we've had.
dude, I
And,
relate to that so much, honestly. So you know what? I'm looking at your I'm just looking at it via streaming or whatever. But talk about Shipp Records, because that's who you all been releasing records under for the albums. Hey,
Russ, you can take this.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you a lot better now.
we really hear you. Praise the Lord.
It's a mystery. Just like Shipp Records. Well, what is there to say about Shipp Records? It's I don't know. It's kind of a shipwreck. It's like it's a name that we put on our music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like Shipwreck and Polly from GI Joe.
Yeah.
Remember Shipwreck from That's hilarious, though. I love it, though. Well, we look forward to hearing more from Shipp Records overall.
Yes.
They put out some good stuff.
Yeah. Speaking
Basically,
of that,
they're known for just putting out masterpieces.
Yeah,
That's
there we
their
go.
standard. Is they only put out masterpieces. Like if anything is like below the line of masterpiece, they're like, this is garbage. It doesn't make the cut. Only the
Right,
best on
right.
Shipp
Record everything
Records.
over again, right?
well, I would say Rusty Shipp fans can agree. So you got this new album.
Yeah.
It's out. Capsized Empire. It is a
That's right.
masterpiece. And if you haven't heard it, what are you doing with your life? Where can people hear this music and buy your merch?
It's out on every streaming service globally. All the merch, if you've like Doug was saying, the physical CD copy that really is the hot ticket to buy right now, simply because it has this whole storyline written out by the captain himself. It has all the lyrics to all of the things. And we all grew up in that generation where you'd get a really cool new CD of your favorite band. You'd pull out the jewel slip and you would follow along listening to it, follow the lyrics or maybe a storyline. So Rusty did a fantastic job of drafting all that up and doing some artwork with our favorite artist and his favorite artist, Heinz Zayman, who did the album artwork cover for all of the past 3-4 albums that we've
Oh, very
done.
good.
So I would say, yeah, if you want to support us, go to rustyship.com, buy a copy of the new album.
It's two
It's
P's.
it's just the artwork is too cool. The artwork is too cool. The storyline, everything that Russ did in this is too cool not to have a physical copy of it. Just if you just enjoy the art of something tangible in your hands, you know what I mean? So, but if you're more of an audio person, then go ahead and Apple Music, Spotify, whatever, Bandcamp, we're on there too.
Yeah.
Stream to your heart's delight, and we appreciate that. Yeah, and thank you to Heaven's Metal, all you guys, all the reviews that your staff have been putting out about, man, talk about super well thought out, very very kind words. So we really appreciate you
Yeah,
guys.
and just to
Yeah,
clarify,
absolutely. So
so this specific podcast is for Christian Metal Group, and Heaven's Metal is separate, which I'm a staff writer for. So it's two separate
right, I
things.
was about to say,
No
Okay,
worries.
he's in
my
every
apologies.
so,
My
Hey,
apologies.
it's all
Yeah.
good. No, but yeah, we love promoting bands that love
that's right.
Jesus essentially, and so that's what we're about. So y'all go check it out. I'm looking to catch a
Yeah.
live show and buy a physical CD. What you got, Jay?
So in closing, speaking of love and Jesus, in one sentence, everybody, tell me about Jesus, like in your own words. One sentence.
Hmm.
Well, that's difficult.
That's why we
Hmm.
ask it.
The beginning and the end of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's a difficult question. I could say something cheap and easy like, "He's my Lord and Savior, and I thank Him for everything. I owe everything to Him." But that's kind of cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. I think he was given to mankind as the best representation of shalom in the world.
Mm-hmm. That's
We
good.
can't beat that.
One of the thoughts that came to mind is a mystery in the sense that he is challenging for people to figure out because not being what people expected.
That's good.
For
Yeah.
sure. For sure.
Awesome.
That's good.
I love all
Well,
that,
thank you.
man. Man,
This has been really great. So if you're watching this and you haven't heard Rusty Shipp, go pick up a copy. Listen on anywhere it's streaming. Y'all have a great day.
yeah, God
Thanks, guys. We
Thank you.
appreciate you.